Hey everyone, I'm Coach Ash. This is my wife, Coach Melanie. We are personal trainers who are also embarking on a simple life of digital nomad lifestyle and ultimately homesteading. And if you know us, you know that we have been personal trainers. We've been in fitness for quite some time now, over a decade. And you might be wondering what the heck fitness has to do with van life, but the two are very, very intertwined when you think about it. So I want to tell you a little bit about why we got into fitness in the first place and why being nomads, why homesteading, why off-grid living, why self-sufficiency is all an important next evolution in our wellness journey, and why it might be worth considering for yours as well. Now, when we were first starting out in our careers, we were barely 30 and we had a plethora of health issues. My knees were always jacked up. I was really overweight. I had bad
I
shoulders.
had chronic back and neck pain, anxiety, panic attacks, like a whole bunch of stuff that resolved after getting my body together. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we were starting our early 30s with careers in transportation and retail, and basically feeling like we were falling apart and that we saw a future where we were not able to take care of ourselves. So we got into fitness and we became so passionate about it that we both decided to change careers. And more than 10 years later, we've owned two gyms. We've set powerlifting records. We have helped other people to set athletic records. We have helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to find a love of their body and find new capacity that they didn't realize they had. Now, when we first started working in the fitness industry, it became really apparent to us that there was a lot of problems with it. We weren't gym people. So from the outside looking in with fresh eyes on the industry, we were able to see things like all of the misogyny, all of the homophobia and transphobia, all of
Body
the
shaming.
body shaming, the inherent racism in the industry. And that led us to ultimately opening our own gyms so that we could create an environment where we could work to combat these issues in the fitness industry. And it wasn't easy because these problems are nuanced parts of our society. Um, and especially when you start getting into the intersections of nutrition and racism and classism and fitness, it becomes really apparent that there's systemic problems that need to be addressed. It's a fact that in poorer communities there are worse health outcomes because parks aren't funded. There aren't safe places for people to engage in healthy outdoor activities or workouts. From a nutritional standpoint, there's such a thing as food deserts, which are places where the availability of good food is less. And that is typically correlated with low income, which is typically correlated with minority neighborhoods. So it is very true that there are neighborhoods where if you are black, you are having a much harder time to gain some autonomy over your health because of the lack of good food. Maybe you've got a convenience store in a shitty park that's not safe, and that's it. There's no LA Fitness. There's no park with all the cool fitness equipment. There's no Whole Foods. And it's tough to afford food from those places in the first place. So, from a fitness standpoint, there are very, very deep systemic issues that as we sought to find a way to create a fitness environment that would help empower people, we saw that there were other environments that they were in that we could not impact that also negatively impacted their health. Like, how many times have you
Yeah.
worked with someone who just couldn't lock in their nutrition because they were working 80 hours a week for peanuts?
Right. And it's one thing to be in a supportive environment for what, an hour out of your day if you're going to a gym with kind people in it, if you're lucky enough to have that in your community. But once you step out of that environment and you're no longer around those people and you don't have that support anymore, how do you go about taking those lessons through your day? Like, how do you integrate that into your life and not have it be this distinctly separate thing of, oh, when I walk through these two doors, I'm taking care of myself. When I walk out, I'm bombarded with all of the complexities of just trying to survive.
Yeah, all of the systemic oppression that exists there,
Yeah.
that's based in white supremacy, that's based in patriarchy, misogyny, all kinds of stuff. So what does that have to do with fitness? We started our fitness journey primarily to gain autonomy over our bodies, to become self-sufficient at a time where we felt we were physically falling apart. You carry that through to other important aspects of wellness, spiritual health, financial health, making sure that you have all of the basic needs, food, clothing, shelter, all of that. And you find that it is incredibly difficult, and it is, for many people, becoming, especially in recent years, more difficult to meet those needs and to become self sufficient. So we have opted to pull away from that system. Instead of trying to reform the system from within, the fitness system that we thought we could reform by opening up a gym and creating an environment where people of all kinds were welcomed and body shaming wasn't a thing and you were celebrated for what you could do and you could keep doing more. We found that that wasn't enough, is to just create that one environment. So we are pulling out of the system entirely. We are opting to, as best as possible, not participate in those systems anymore and to reclaim even more of our own personal autonomy. Now, why do we integrate that now into our fitness brand? It's because you are probably, if you're like us, in a similar situation where you are frustrated and feel like you are stuck, and that all of the things that you're trying to do to either lose weight, get stronger, reduce pain, enjoy a good active social life, whatever the case may be, are getting harder. And the solution is, we have found over the years, the solution is not to work harder. There is a cap at which you cannot work harder without degrading your body, without cashing checks that you don't have the physical funds to cash, so to speak. So we're pulling back from all of that, and we want to show how we are doing that in the hopes that maybe it gives other people some ideas on maybe some dramatic changes they can make in their life or just some small changes that they can make. Everyone's a little different.
And just making those associations between your everyday activities and fitness. I think all too often when people think of fitness, they think of it as this separate thing that has to do with like having six pack abs and being sexy. And sure, you can achieve some of those aesthetic goals, and your vanity is valid if that's what you want out of your fitness. But from the beginning, the reason why Ash and I got into it was for the value and the impact that it has on our lives. So uh, and I think about it in the context of nearly everything. When I get in and out of the van, I'm doing a big leg movement.
We're squatting all day
We're
long.
squatting all day long. The ceiling in here is low. We're squatting all day long. Um, Picking things up, carrying them, moving things around, and doing all these things without injuring ourselves. For somebody who's never had injuries or chronic pain, this might seem like, well, yeah, of course, but for those of you who have, you know what I'm talking about.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. So just taking those lessons into our daily lives, and frankly, that is why I really love training people online now and in their own homes, because it's much easier to make those associations with fitness, with your actual life and how it relates to your environment, than it is to just go into this artificial environment, this separate place, and a place that not everybody has access to also.
Right. That
uh,
comes back to the classism and the
Right.
racism and all
Yes.
of that
So
other
it
stuff.
it definitely levels the playing field a lot more. Not completely. I know there are plenty of people who don't have internet access, but it levels the playing field a lot more, to be able to reach people online. We have people now who were unable to drive to get to us before, either because of geographic location, mental health issues, like any number of things that would keep them out of a gym before. And they're now doing more and seeing how it relates to their environment, lifting their pets, uh, you know, chasing their kids,
Yeah.
doing all the things, repairs on their home, things that they need to do in their daily activities.
And we can coach people on their time too, which is a much more reasonable thing. Anytime you may have tried to go to a gym or any fitness class of any sort, you know that you're beholden to the schedule of the gym or of the fitness class. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. But training online is a whole different story. So it adds another layer of accessibility to fitness that we couldn't provide when we did have a brick and mortar gym.
Right. And then just, having that extra accountability and guidance from people who know where you're coming from too. Because I remember, my first experience with a personal trainer, he wasn't a bad guy. He was a real sweetheart, but he did not understand where I was coming from at all. I told him that I wanted to get out of pain and strengthen my back. And he's like, so like what, lose 20 pounds, get sexy. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't, he wasn't understanding the concept of fitness for health and resiliency's sake. And I kept trying to explain to him, like, I don't care what I look like. And it just wasn't registering for him. Not a bad guy, but that's really pretty typical of fitness environments in general, I'd say.
Yeah. So if you were wondering what the hell is up with these fitness people and why they've decided to live out of a van now, that's why, and that's the connection between fitness and all of this is accessibility, is tearing down systems of oppression that are insidious and have their tentacles in everything, including fitness. Fitness should be an empowering thing, and yet it is still touched with all of those issues like she was talking about there. Great trainers that only know how to make people skinny or only know how to relate to people on that level. Again, nutrition and accessibility, healthy outdoor activity and accessibility, all of this. So thank you for joining us on our journey. Thank you for listening to us rant about this. This is why we're doing what we do here, is we want to show you maybe a different way to do things. And if you can do it, do it. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Even if you're living in a van down by the river, you can still do the fitness.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. I'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.